This week on Wonky Times, Smarty Pants scientists are saying babies might actually remember more than we think. Plus, a 10-year-old sues his father for more than 12,000 buckaroos. And a psychic detective explains how she helped law enforcement solve real crimes. Rock on, cool dudes. Wonky Times starts now.
Meanwhile, let me pass on the good word about the new
Wonky Times.
Woo! Okay, Brian. Boy, do we have a show for you today.
For me?
For everybody else listening, not really you, because you are part of the show. But anyways, here's some weird facts about being human. Did you know that most of us don't remember the first few years of our lives or even like being born?
Which is convenient for your parents.
Yeah, apparently. Our brains are just, they just don't want to give us access to those kind of memories, you know? Scientists call it infantile amnesia.
That sounds like a band name.
For years, researchers believe the reason we don't remember these early moments in our lives is it's because of okay, get ready for this. It's called the hippocampus.
The hippocampus?
Yep.
Is that where you went to school?
Nope.
Hippocampus. Like a university for hippos.
No, it's the part of your brain, well, not your brain, but my brain, that's responsible for forming memories.
So there's no hippo mascot?
I don't know, maybe. Anyway, scientists, they used to think that babies just couldn't store memories because their hippocampus wasn't fully developed. But there's some smart folks at Yale suggesting that babies might actually be forming memories earlier than we thought.
So babies are just walking around making memories.
Yeah, man. And researchers showed some Rugrats photos recently of faces, objects, and scenes, and then later showed them the same images to see if they recognized them. Here, Rebecca, she has a quote from one of these smart people at Yale.
The hallmark of these types of memories, which we call episodic memories, is that you can describe them to others. But that's off the table when you're dealing with pre-verbal infants. When babies have seen something just once before, we expect them to look at it more when they see it again. So in this task, if an infant stares at the previously seen image more than the new one next to it, that can be interpreted as the baby recognizing it as familiar.
Look at Becca. She just went full nerd on us.
So babies are basically tiny memory machines.
Yep, you got that right.
So your brain is sitting on years of secret footage.
Yeah, I imagine it is. I wonder what's in there. Deep down inside my hippocampus. And you know who has a super powerful hippocampus?
Your mom?
Nice one, RoboBrian.
Okay. No, I'm talking about Nancy Orlen Weber. She's not my mom, but she actually remembers being born, which is pretty crazy. Take a listen to my chat with her.
It began with me remembering my birth.
Wow. Okay. That's not your average.
See what I mean?
Yeah. So what was it like being born? What do you remember from it?
Well, what I remembered, I called my mother when I had total recall of it and re-experienced it. And I said, so I think I had hit a bone as I was trying to come out of you and really pushed back hard and then pushed myself and broke open a bone and flew out.
Wow.
And she said, how the heck do you know? And I said, well, I told you I remember it. Why? Because you've never told me any of that. And she said, well, I had a rare case, it's in the medical text, of a bone over my cervix. She said, your sister was born 5.5 years before you, and she came out with a crushed collarbone. So I never told you because I didn't want to upset anybody. She said, but then you flew out and they had to catch you.
Well,
I've been doing that ever since.
I'm glad they caught you. Good thing
so am I.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
They could have had Butterfingers, you know? I'm glad they caught you.
Just going, bye everybody, early.
Hey Brian, did you know hippos never forget? Or wait, is that just an elephant thing?
Are we still talking about the hippocampus?
No, we've moved on from the hippocampi. Is that right? Like a hippopotami?
I don't think that's right either.
Anyway, I want to tell you about a 10-year-old kid who hasn't forgotten that his dad owes him a lot of money, like $12,000.
That's a very expensive allowance.
Yeah, this story comes out of China. The boy, he had been saving money for years, mostly gifts he got during Lunar New Year. They call these things red envelopes or envelopes, however you like to pronounce it. But people like to give kids cash inside these things, man. And actually, RoboBecca knows more about it than we do.
Over the years, the kid's father deposited the red envelope money into a bank account in his name. Then, the dad got remarried and decided to withdraw all of his kids' savings to pay for the wedding.
Nice. That's some responsible parenting there.
So the kid did the most mature thing possible. He sued him.
Yeah, what a very 1990s thing to do. I mean, RoboBecca, what was the verdict in this?
The court ruled that the gift money legally belonged to the young lad as his personal property, and then ordered the father to return the savings with interest.
No way.
Imagine being 10 years old and suing your dad.
I can't even get my dad to return my power drill.
You have a dad?
Yeah, he's a vintage model.
And speaking of the law, Nancy, who you heard from just a couple of minutes ago, she made a career out of being a psychic detective. It's pretty cool. She's also an animal communicator, but we'll save that for another episode.
Since she's psychic, did she already know she was going to be in this episode?
I mean, yeah, duh.
I don't think that's how it works.
How did you become involved in detective work? Like, how did that come about?
I enrolled, we moved to New Jersey in 1979, August, and I enrolled my 4-year-old in karate because he had been in it prior, and so had I, and etc. So it was a young woman, about 5'2", black belt, was the teacher. And they had, for some reason, they found out I'm an animal communicator, and they had, local newspaper had me on the cover with my kids and my cat and my dog. And she said, "You ever work with the police?" And I thought, why is she asking me? And so she said, well, there was a rape, and she was going to finish the sentence. I didn't let her. I said, he looks like the typical farmer in the movie Leave It to Beaver or something, I can't remember, where he's got this kind of orangey hair, slim face, freckles. And she said, oh, would you be willing to speak to my supervisor? I said, sure. So the next week at karate, there's this guy standing against the wall. He's crooking his finger and going, psst, like, come over. So I stand next to him as we're watching the kids. And he said, so tell me what you got. And so I repeated it. And he said, would you mind if I come over tomorrow with my partner? I said, no. So they come. Police station's about half a mile from me. So they go at that time. And they go up to my office with me. And we're about 6 feet apart. They're sitting together. They're looking at me. And they said, repeat it. So I do. And I'm thinking, this is funny. This is how you work with police. Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah. Okay. So there were 2 detectives. And I said, and it was a rape murder. It wasn't just a rape, I'm telling them. And they said, well, we have one problem with, what's your problem? There are 2 different men who look like that. I said, no, they don't. And I stood up and walked across the room with a big limp. And then I sat down. In the weirdest way, I can still feel my body go, humph, kind of like, so there, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they looked at me and they said, how did you know one has a limp? I said, it's easy. I became him. And I'm thinking, do you know how insane that sounds, Nancy?
Yeah. Wow.
Well, I had done a lot of trance medium and medium work before that for about 5 years. So this was 4 years. This was not something I haven't done before. And I thought, you are a very strange kid. But it was the rape murder, and it was him. And that was a confession right away.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Just because there was no way he could deny it, pretty much.
They said, well, what they said to him, well, he was chief of detective, Ross English. We ended up working 10 years together on fresh crime scenes, cold cases, etc. And he was my go-to referral. But he said, I told him I have an eyewitness. I said, you what? He said, yeah, you were an eyewitness, weren't you? Doesn't matter what eye you used. That was it.
Yeah. Wow.
But he did that twice. Once for a burglary in my home that I told them the names of the people, where they did it, how they did it. 8 hours later, they had full confessions on the burglars.
Wow. Yeah,
because they had an eyewitness going to see him put a rifle in his mother's attic. And I'm laughing and going, an attic? Are you kidding me? He believed that? Like there's no peeping into an attic.
You know, I watch a lot of X-Files. Do you ever watch that TV show?
No, I actually only watch when I watch anything like that, murder mysteries, fiction. I've seen enough real life.
You must have known I was going to ask a question like this, because how does it affect you at all? Like, can you go home and kind of wipe it clean out of your mind?
Yeah, it depends. My first nursing teacher, Mrs. Norman, Brooklyn College School of Nursing, said, when I asked her how you stay and maintain the calm I see in you, that never veers, she said, well, you put everything about yourself in a bag when you go to work. And if you want, you pick it up. Your troubles, your problems, your worries, your concerns, your fears, your anything. So I've been doing it ever since. It's kind of like putting on my nursing uniform, go help somebody, forget about what I've gone through or going through, doesn't matter, and just do the work. So when I come home from crime cases, the moment I get out of it, I'd put on music. If I was home, I'd walk right into the shower, clean up, tell my kids I'll make dinner in a moment, get very busy, focused on something totally different. And that's how a lot of times I started all kinds of projects that have nothing to do with that work.
Right.
At all. But what happens is I see something that reminds me of somebody who died, murdered, raped, whatever. And that's when the tears come. That's when the sadness comes. But that's fine. I think that if you didn't care and I just find that it's the same thing for all of us if you think about it. If you're sitting with anyone who's lost anybody in any sense of the word, whether it's their cat missing or died or their daughter murdered or when you're sitting there, you're not concerned about how you feel. You simply want to offer space for them to feel whatever it is. And that to me is a very healing thing for me too, to be there for them.
And that's the end of this week's show.
Thanks for getting wonky with us.
So yeah, like always, let us know if you see anything weird out there. If you do, email us at getwonky@wonkytimes.com.
Or send us a message on Instagram at wonkytimes.
Or call us at 615-669-8240 and leave us a voicemail. We're not going to answer it, but there's a very good chance that we'll play your message on the show, so pretty cool.
Give us a ring-a-ling.
Adios! I like to do it on the couch.
I like to do it with my husband.
Heck, sometimes I do it when no one's looking. Anywhere works for me. Introducing the Wonky Times Hotline. It's so much fun. You can do it anywhere.
No way.
Yes, anywhere. Your couch, your car, your backyard. Call us, leave a voicemail, and maybe you'll hear your message on the next podcast episode. Dial 615-669-8240. Strange stories, spooky tales, and all things wonky just waiting for your voice. Again, that's 615-669-8240. Don't wait, get wonky today.